Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are out here at Brown County in Indiana doing a little bit of suspension testing on the Ibis Ripmo. More specifically, I have completely gone through all of the settings, redone everything. It's a brisk, call it 40 degrees out here today, so hopefully the freeze thaw isn't too bad. But we're going to be testing out some new pressures and new settings for the rear shock, which is the DVO Topaz T3. And then for the fork, we're working with the DVO Onyx. I'll have more comments on the suspension at the end, but so far it feels awesome. The bike feels a way bit faster. Jumping is a lot more composed in the air, and overall it's just a lot more fun. So I'm gonna shut up and ride down. I'll get back to you later. Yep, there we go. Howdy. So quick summary before I get into the numbers, which may not be applicable to every rider here. As a whole, recommend no matter what bike you have, play with your suspension settings. I have never had a better time out on my bike, and I've been on this Ibis Ripmo for almost a full year, and I thought I understood the settings, but boy was I wrong. So fully kitted up, and let me just run through the numbers quickly here. About 190 pounds. For the fork, I ran 83 PSI, which is between the 80 and 85 PSI recommendation from DVO. I was running the rebound 10 clicks slower than the fastest setting, which I found did not upset the bike at all, but made it super responsive out on the trail, so big fan of that. Do not plan on changing anything at all about the fork for the time being. I had the compression all the way open with one click for the high speed, slower. So felt super controlled, good on big hits, really no complaints there. Moving on to the shock. I ran that at 175 PSI, and the biggest difference I noticed with the suspension, I had not been checking to see where my sag was. I was basically just picking up the bike and riding it, as many of us do. When I measured the other day when I made the adjustments, I was running that rear sag at about 40%. With the 175% PSI, I was running the sag at about 29%, and it felt a world of difference. So the geometry of the bike, whenever I was cornering hard, it really stayed where it should be. And previously the back was just dropping way too much, and I would have to do weird things with my body positioning to try and make my way through the corner, and it felt slow and it felt weird. And I just didn't realize that was the issue. And I think I solved it. So really excited about that. DVO also on their shocks have proprietary air bladders. I believe some of the other suspension manufacturers have something similar. I ran that at 200 PSI, and for the rebound on the rear shock, I had that as fast as it went with just one click slower. As a whole, the front and back felt like it was super balanced. Didn't feel like I was diving at the nose, didn't feel like I was kicking at the rear. I felt from the moment I hopped on the bike with my new settings, completely enabled to charge harder than I have previously, which sounds really stupid to say, but again, suspension makes a world of difference. So if you take nothing else from this video, please just play around with your settings. I swear you will probably be able to figure something out either about your bike, your ability to ride. There were things I was hitting today that previously I would ride at as fast as I could and the bike would just get packed in and I couldn't do anything to make it. And today things were a breeze and the conditions weren't even that good. So at the end of the day, suspension is a massively important feature of a mountain bike, especially a full suspension bike. I guess if you're dealing with a hardtail here, you just have the suspension up front. But thank you for being here for this video. If you have any sort of questions about Ibis Ripmo, mountain biking, just anything in general, feel free to shoot me a message, leave a comment. Subscriptions and likes are always appreciated, but not the expectation. And thank you for being here, and get out there on the trails.